So here's my Shed solar grid. We've got 3 different controllers in the middle here, and each of them has 4 100-watt 12-volt panels coming in. So what we can do is take a look. We've got about 76 volts over here at, that's towards the battery. Where is it? Is it? No, it can't be that high. It'd be like, I think it only shows it in the app. It's probably only like 1 to 3 amps at that voltage. And then over here, same thing, 75 volts coming in. Over here, we've got 71 volts coming in. So this guy was my first, and he has 2 panels on this side and 2 panels on this side, and the sun comes like this throughout the day. So then I was like, well, let's get 2 more panel strings. So I put 4 over here and then 4 over here. So I've got a total of 12 panels. It's 4 times 3. And originally what I had was breakers going in to the charge controller. And then I had these breakers in the middle here. And I started with the 40 amps because the output, the 40 amp MPPT charge controller, means it's 40 amps that can deliver down to the battery. So to protect the wires and everything else in the middle of the battery and the controllers, I had these guys. Now the problem is when these guys would have a boost charge cycle like these are going to go through soonish, the problem is, let me set this back. The problem is they would trip. And what happens is when a battery is disconnected from the charge controller, that's what keeps it alive, and that's what allows it to put energy to a place. So we've got a whole bunch of energy coming in, and if the battery's disconnected and there's a break right here, all the juice will go into the capacitors of this thing and it'll die. So, sorry, just running around, I need to catch my breath. The ideal solution would have been to have a relay. So if this guy were to trip, if this guy were to trip, then this guy should trip right away as well. We never want to have the PV voltage coming in, the solar panel voltage coming in when the battery's disconnected. We can have the battery on all the time. That's what powers the unit, upstream, backwards. So after a little bit of trial and error, and losing a couple controllers, what I've done is this. So I originally thought, oh, I just need to bump this up to 60 amps. Well, that did not fix it. The same thing happened just later. And it could have just been because of it being less or more sunny those different days, so it's kind of hard to have a control group to test against. I also reached out to support and they never got back to me, so I'm just here trying things. So when they sell kits, they usually have these A&L fuses between, and I think these are better suited because a breaker, if you have a spike in the voltage, even for just a moment, these things will trip. But these guys will take the load for a little while before they melt and physically disconnect the little squiggly wire you see in there. So I got these rated at 40 amps, as you can see in the little indicator marker right there. And yesterday I had to just totally gut this system and I had to recrimp and rebuild all my cables. I lost some that I had previously crimped. I built new ones, and we'll see. We will see if this is the magic sauce. So for a moment, I just want to talk about why I want to have a solar grid. 1, it's pretty cool. 2, you could go to a class at college and you could learn these types of things, but be spending thousands of dollars for the course and you walk away with just the knowledge. I would rather go and buy the stuff, and I have enough adjacencies where I kind of understand what's going on at a higher level. So, I decided, well, why not just buy the gear and try it out? And that's what I did. The second reason is I have a smart shed that has speakers. It's got a little mini heater. It's gonna have a whole hydroponic table here. I've got all sorts of little gizmos and sensors and automatic fans and charging things. So for me, it kind of makes sense to be able to power these things. And the other thing is, I do apologize, it is a complete mess in here, but I've got an electric edger, an electric mower. So when I'm cutting the grass, I've already paid for these. All I have to do is grab the batteries out and go pop it on the charger, and this will charge it throughout the day. Also, I've got a garden built, and I've done some things over here. Where I want to have these little quick connects and just have 12 volts, which is what the solar grid provides, down to 5 volts, and just plug in a little thing, like a little time-lapse camera. And then I can watch my strawberry plants grow, or have overhead lights that I need to replace, or have like a little spotlight camera thing that goes in a 360, so as I move around it kind of has a little working light that I can see. Or the best one, and the one I started with, when I fill up my rain tanks automatically from the rain, there's just a pump that sends it back here. It just fills it in. I want to have a little junction box here where I have a relay board, and I can just tell it on and off to complete the circuit to turn on different irrigation solenoids. So this is all gravity based. So since these tanks are up higher than what I have down in here, there's a big rectangle. I have big pots in the ground that have floats. I'll show you that stuff in a second. And then I've got little holes drilled in all these little things around the perimeter. So all my plants can get watering, and all I have to do is open up this for like 5 minutes a day. And then what I can do, since I can send a signal to this whenever I need, I can just send more information like when to turn it on and off, not just a static 5 p.m. turn on for 5 minutes and then run and then turn itself off. I can do interesting things like, let's take a look at the weather that's already happened and what's coming up. And if it's within the cycle of, oh yeah, check this out. Lights turn on automatically when I walk in. If, sorry, I have a squirrel brain. Let's see. If I want to control the irrigation more intelligently and reserve water when maybe there's kind of like a drought, or maybe send a notification to myself. This was like the phase 1 to test it out in the garden through there. The thing I'm doing now is I'm creating an app called Plot Twist, and there will be other videos released kind of explaining that in detail, but it'll take it and just basically put it on steroids. It's going to be doing so much more, and it should be pretty easy to set up. You should just kind of plug it in, give it your Wi-Fi credentials so it has internet access, so it can post and pull from the phone app. So yeah, I think that's pretty complete. Coming back around to the solar grid here, I hope that it holds true. Now, just one more point, if it does fail for whatever reason, I do work in data centers for my normal job, and this is an APC. This is just an automatic power controller, and what it does is you can have 2 power inputs in the back, and this is a switch that just feeds over to the charge controller here. I'm sorry, the inverter. And what it does is it takes the 12 volts, so the batteries connect up, and then new wires run over. We come up over here, and I can get 1,000 watts at 120, not 12 volts, 120. I can run that up and over, and I can plug it in the back of here into this one, and then this one just tells me when it's going to be on or off. So if I have house power also plugged in as secondary, when I do this, you can see right down here, it instantly flips. Now the camera may or may not have picked up that camera flicker, but it's instant. If I had a computer plugged into the front of this thing and you were gaming or whatever, as long as the network didn't go out, your computer would be fine. It's fast enough to, look at that, boom, to fail over. I also have a kilowatt meter, or that's the name brand. I have the off-brand one that was like, I don't know, 20 bucks for this thing. I set the cost of my electricity, excuse me, which I think is around 23 cents with delivery. So what I did was, this is the plug that goes towards the solar. So right now I'm using 128 watts. And it has cost me $1.10 since I reset it, which was like 2 or 3 days ago. So what this tells me is my break-even point. How much I've spent on the solar grid, I can figure out how many days of electricity I can use this system for before it pays me back. And then from there, I'm getting free electricity. So the whole idea here is spend more money up front, learn the skills, and then later, after things are paid off, I'll be living with less bills, and I can take the money that I would have been spending for electricity at a constant pace and invest it into a bigger solar grid, like on the house maybe. So it won't just be my shed, it'll be my whole house, and I'll know some of the shortcomings and things to avoid. And of course, with a house, it'd be much more dramatic. You know, I'm a high energy user, I've got a lot of tech, but I can buy bigger controllers, so I don't have to do like a 3 controller system. I can do like a combiner box into one main MPPT controller that just costs way more money. These were just so affordable. I got the Renogy starter pack. It was 1 controller plus some wiring, 4 panels, and something else. Something else came with it. But basically, it was $400. So usually the panels alone are $100 each. So I got a $200 controller as a bonus. So that's why I did like this triple one instead of just buying one big one and feeding every one of the solar controller PV positive negative nodes into one. So hope that makes sense. I hope you found this valuable and helpful a little bit. If you have any questions, let me know.